Yo,
Hello.
what's up, family? 6:30, Thursday. Time to get a little sharper. What's good with you? Hope you're having a good week so far. Just to set the table, let y'all know. Hopefully, you're ready for some more grown folk conversation today. We started on it last week. I'm going to continue this week, and we're back in Ephesians chapter 4. We're going to be starting at verse 17, and we're just going to see how this goes. I'm trying to finish the rest of this chapter. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to happen or not, but we're going to try. Okay. But anyway, we're going to start 17. But of course, how we always start, we ain't deviating from that. I know some of y'all done had a day. Some of y'all been pushing. Some of y'all been fighting some stuff. You've been dealing with some stuff and you just need a second. So let's take that second right now. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. All right. So here we go. Let's go with this. So again, last week, we've been for the last few weeks been talking about relationship, and we're not changing from that because relationships are important in so many ways and so many opportunities that relationships give us. There's a lot to learn, a lot to deal with, a lot of understanding that's needed, a lot of forgiveness, a lot of misunderstanding. So it's good and bad with relationships, right? But they are important. Okay. At the end of the day, relationships are important. And so we've been spending some time with that, and we're going to continue with that. But in this part right here, when we talk about relationships, the only person you got control over in that relationship is who?
You.
That's right. So we're going to continue down this road about relationships, but we also looking at ourselves. This is that self-reflection period, right? So what we're about to talk about right here is all about you taking a look at yourself. But this is grown folk conversation right here. This ain't if your skin thin, you might not want to stick around for this conversation right here. I'm just going to be honest with you, but there's a reason why you're here and the reason why you're listening. So we're going to go with this. Let's go with 17. Let's work with it.
Okay. With the Lord's authority, I say this: live no longer as the Gentiles do, for they are hopelessly confused. Their minds are full of darkness. They wander far from the life God gives because they have closed their minds and hardened their hearts against Him. So
let me say this. We're going to go back to that a little bit more. So don't lose that.
Okay.
We'll probably go back to that again, break that down a little bit more. But here's the reality, guys. Couple things I want to say about this. We different. You were created to be different. I was created to be different. She was created to be different. None of us are alike. But at the same time, there was a lot of similarities with us. Okay. So please understand, we're not in the arena to be judging. Okay. But what comes to my mind, if it walk like a duck, if it quack like a duck, if it shake like a duck, might be a duck. So here's the reality. What am I getting at? Is that, and I want us to go back to that again, read that scripture again, but you are to be different. Don't point fingers at anybody else because of the positions that they in, or the way they act, or the way they treat people, or the way they talk to people, the way they carry themselves. They walk around like they all that, and then they also act like you beneath them, and they just don't care nothing about people. They don't care nothing about you. They just do whatever they feel like they want to do and say and do whatever they want to do. Okay. That's not you. That's them. Okay. But again, we cannot judge. Okay. We cannot judge because we see people like that. Okay. But what he's telling us with this scripture right here, I want you to read it one more time, babe, because he's beginning to start talking to us. So we got to check ourselves, okay? Because we don't want to be, because there's a part in there that talked about turning away from God's way. And y'all know I've talked about it time and time again about his will, his perfect will and his permissive will. One thing you don't want to do is fall out of his will. You don't want that. Okay. And that's what this warning is right here, is about falling out of his will. Now, we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. That's another reason why we cannot point fingers. Okay. We can't talk about them. Okay. But we do have to recognize what's going on. So you can't be surprised with some of the stuff you see happening out here, some of the stuff you hear, the things that are taking place. You should not be surprised. He's talking about it right here. Read that again for us, babe. 17 through
With
19.
the Lord's authority, I say this: live no longer as the Gentiles do, for they are hopelessly confused.
Mm-hmm.
Their minds are full of darkness. They wander far from the life God gives because they have closed their minds and hardened their hearts.
That's that part right there. The hardening of the heart and closing your mind. Okay? Don't shut them off. Don't shut them off. Don't shut them off. Even despite the stuff that has happened, even despite the bad decisions, despite the wrong choices, you hung with the wrong people, you done did some stuff you ain't proud of. You might have did some stuff you are proud of, but you know you was wrong for doing it. All of that, okay? And we're going to read a little bit later another reason why we can't be in the judgmental stand. Because, again, we just got to be careful that we are not allowing our hearts to be hardened towards Christ and not hear from him, okay? And not go in the way that he directed for us to go. Because I promise you, that's going to be the best place for you to be, is be in the way that he wants you to go, okay? Not going to sit here and act like it's going to be easy, okay? It's some difficult days ahead, but it's going to be difficult days ahead regardless whether you with him or not. Come on, man.
Yeah, so I just want to add that, Christ wants us to have an intimate relationship with us.
Yes.
He wants to love us.
Yes.
And oftentimes what get in the way of that love and receiving that love is what's in our head.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that we have in our head is pushing us away from Christ and pushing us away from that love that he really wants to give us. And so if we surrender a lot of this junk in our head
Mm-hmm.
and just fall in love with him and rest in his love, then, we can have just a great relationship with Christ, a very intimate and loving relationship.
And again, we've been talking about relationship, and we still on relationship. And I always tell y'all, I've been saying it for a minute now. I'm going to continue to say it. He has to be in the equation. Okay. You put him in the equation because he's the only constant in the equation. You got him in the equation. That's relationship. Equation means relationship. That means there's some relation going on there. There's something together, working together for a final outcome. Right. And so that's why he got to be a part of the equation, because we're the variable. Right. And so we're just trying to get the right answer, right, out of our life. Right. But that's the reason why we cannot wander away from him. We cannot close our heart. We can't get this hard heart and can't close our mind from him, because he's talking to you. He's talking to you all the time. And sometimes you just don't want to listen. Okay. I know I'm guilty of it. I ain't gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about Ron. I know somebody else, many a day, Ron ain't want to hear what he got to say. Ron don't want to hear it. Okay. Because Ron want to do what Ron want to do. Okay. And that's typically don't work out in my favor. But thank God for grace. I can tell you that. Okay. Thank God for grace. And how many times has he given us chances over and over and over, like exponentially over and over and over again. Okay. Again. And we about to go down to the next scripture, starting in, I think, verse 19, where I told you we can't judge. We can't point fingers at other folk as if they is them. We got to look at ourselves. Okay. And here's another reason why we got to look at ourselves. Go ahead, read, babe.
Okay. And before I say
20.
that, I wanted to also say that Christ says, my sheep know my voice.
Yes.
So, we have to know his voice.
Yeah. Put him in the equation. I promise you'll hear it.
Okay.
Verse
19.
20. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, 19?
Yeah, go ahead, 19.
Okay.
Let's finish it off.
They have no sense of shame.
Yeah.
They live for lustful pleasure and eagerly practice every kind of impurity.
We don't want to be that. We don't want to be that.
But that isn't what you learned about Christ.
Stop right there.
Okay.
Stop right there. That's not what you learn. Let me just say this, guys. There is a reason why you're here. There is a reason why we're here every Thursday at 6:30, so that we can hear and we can learn. So I'm sorry, as I told y'all earlier, this is grown folk conversation. And part of that grown folk conversation is understanding that when you hear, you can no longer have an excuse. Sorry, excuses are out because you're hearing exactly what he's telling you. And if you choose not to do it, that's on you. But you can't say that you didn't hear. There is a reason why he has you on here listening to this right now. Okay? Not because of Ron. It ain't about Ron. It ain't about Deb. He got you here for a reason because you need to hear this. You need to hear what he's telling you. Okay? Keep reading, man.
Since you have heard about Jesus and have learned the truth that comes from him, throw off your old sinful nature and your former way of life, which is corrupted by lust and deception. That's
the reason why we cannot judge. That's the reason why I was talking about in verses 17 through 19. He was talking about these Gentiles who got the hard heart and close their mind and don't want to hear nothing and seeking the negativity, and they seeking the foolishness, right? Okay. We've been there, done that. Been there, done that.
Amen.
So why can't we? Who are us? Ye who without sin cast the first stone. So if you are perfect, go ahead and throw the stone. And then as soon as you throw the stone, that makes you imperfect. So no need even doing that. Bottom line is we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And he's just telling us right here, he's delivering us from it. He's taking us from that. Okay. Now, there's others, they're still there. There's others that's deeply involved in the foolishness. They're deeply involved in the darkness, right? We can't act like that doesn't exist, but it's not for us to judge. What we should be doing is praying for them. Be mindful, okay? Because it ain't but so, it's real easy for you to slip right back into it. It's real easy for you to slip right back into it and fall out of his perfect will. And next thing you know, now you trying to fight and claw to get back to where you need to be, or at least get back to halfway, because you can fall way down. Okay? So we cannot judge. We can't point fingers at other folk because he just told us right here. He putting us out of it. Because that means that was us in verses 17 through 19. That was us. Now we moving down to verse 20 and 20 through 21, 24. That's us now. So we moving into a new being. So we getting rid of the old foolishness. We getting rid of the old stuff. Because it's time for new. It's time for greater. It's time for better. Okay? It's a process. All of us in our own little process. It ain't about what position I'm in and what position you in. We all striving for better than right now. But it's going to take some work. It's going to take some sacrifice. You're going to have to get your head cracked. You're going to have to get talked about. You're going to have some folk that's going to look at you and want to bring up your past and talk about what you used to do. Because you used to do it and you did it real good and you was the best at it. Okay? You did it with honors, right? You did it. Own it. But you can help somebody because of what you did, because of what you got through, because of your former self. That should have compassion for the folk that's coming along that's in that darkness. You're supposed to be the light. Don't be darkness in darkness. That ain't doing nobody no good because can't nobody see nothing. And both of y'all gonna end up hitting the wall. Come on, boy.
All right. So, speaking of new, which I received that word, new. Instead, let the Spirit renew your thoughts and attitudes. Put on your new nature.
There you go.
Created to be like God, truly righteous and holy.
Restoration. That's what I hear. Restoration. Okay. It's time. You have, I said this all the time. There is something special about you. There's something special on the inside of you that needs to come out because other people need to see it. Other people need to experience it. Because you're going to make a difference in other people's lives, right? So that's another reason why. This ain't all about you. This new person that you are becoming, okay? this new person that you are to be. I don't care nothing about your age. I don't care nothing about what done happened in the past. I don't care nothing about the bad decisions that you made. You got opportunity right now to make a difference in your life and other people's lives, right? And so it's time for you to do such. And part of doing that is stripping off the old foolishness, stripping that mess off. It's time to put on the new garments. It's time to get a new mindset. It's time to get a new heart. It's time to get a new way of thinking, a new way of acting, a new way of talking. It's time for newness. I'm not telling you to forget what you used to do. Only reason why you need to remember that because you got to use that to help talk to somebody else that's there where you used to be. And while you are moving forward, give God thanks that he's helping you move forward, okay? And that you don't go back to that again, right? Don't judge, but recognize what's going on around you. And in relationships, you build relationships by help. If I don't add any value to her life, you think she's going to stay my wife? Probably not. Because what does it benefit her to invest all of her energy and yet I'm just taking, and I'm not giving anything back. I'm not adding value. I'm taking away from her, right? And so, but how is she able to do it? Because of her life experiences allows her to give. My life experiences say, hey, I need to give to her in order to help her be who she needs to be, right? And of course, this is my wife. So of course, this will be different than your relationship with somebody else that you work with. But the bottom line is you're investing energy and value, adding value to somebody's life. And when you add value to somebody's life, then that makes you that much more necessary. That makes you that much more valuable. Okay? So there's something on the inside of you that's only you can give to the person that you want to come in contact with. I can't do it. She can't do it. You got to do it.
That's right. So, pay it forward.
That's it.
Back to somebody else what God has blessed you with or, taught you or brought you through your experiences, yes. All of that. Just pay it forward.
Yes.
Somebody else's life.
Relationship. It is so vitally important. You are needed. There's stuff on the inside of you that God has put on the inside of you. He put it there for a reason. And he's trying to get it out. That you wonder why there's that tug of war going on. Because it's our will versus his will. Okay? Because our sinful nature don't want to do what's right. Okay? But at the same time, the spirit on the inside of us wants to do right. It's a constant tug of war every day, all day. Right? Because it's so easy, and we're going to get to it later. We ain't going to get to it today, clearly. It ain't going to happen. But it's even going to talk about how you talk to folk. Okay? We're going to get into that part about how you're going to talk to people, how you deal with people, how you build relationship with people. There's something on the inside of you that needs to come out. And God is calling you to do that. Not be like those Gentiles with the hard heart and the closed mind. You got to open your heart. You got to be willing to receive from him because you can't give to nobody something you don't have. So if you don't have joy, you can't give it joy. If you don't have peace, you can't give peace. If you don't have a song in your heart, then you can't sing a song that can lift somebody else up. You can't give what you don't have. But I promise you, you got some stuff on the inside of you already that could be a blessing and a help to somebody else. So let's go start doing that, please. That's what he's calling you to do. And he's calling you to open your heart. Renew this mind. Renew this right here. This is the hub. This is where everything starts right here. So we got to get this right. And how do we get that right? Spending time with him, talking with him, read a little bit of this word right here. Ain't nobody ask you to read a whole chapter a day. If you like me, that's a tough thing to do. Because God knows, I've said it time and time. Thank God I know how to read. But that was never my strong suit. Because I didn't have enough patience to sit down and read. But now I find myself doing a little bit more now than I ever did before. Partly because I got to come on here and be accountable to you guys. But that's another reason why he got me doing this, so that I will read, so I can be accountable. So now I can't have no more excuses. Come on, babe.
You want me to go further?
Come on, let's keep going.
Right.
Let's keep going.
We're up to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Okay. We're going to about to shut it down. Let me go to this last one.
Okay.
So, there's one last thing I want us to say. This is read 25. Just read 25.
All right, 25. So stop telling lies.
Stop right there.
Okay.
Stop lying to yourself. I want you to start right there. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. I just don't understand. God is trying to do something in your life. He's trying to make some moves on your behalf. And you come up with excuses. And those excuses are lies. It's not truth. That's a trick of the enemy. He's trying to fool you because he knows God got something special and something planned for you. That's if what's on the inside of you comes out, it's going to be something awesome. He already knows this. That's the reason why he's putting this stuff in front of you, trying to get you off track and look at this and look at, instead of being straightforward like the horse with the blinders, he's removing the blinders out the way because he wants you to look at this over here and look at that over there and look, and then turn around and look behind you, while God is telling you, no, I need you to go forward. The enemy is out to kill and to steal and to destroy, and using lies, tricking your mind, and then you start believing the lie. The devil is a liar. It's time to move forward. It's time to see what God has for you, and he has it waiting for you. All you got to do is accept it. All you got to do is keep rocking with him. You got to trust him. You're going to have to believe in him. You read this word, it's going to help you. It's going to give you that strength to push. It's going to give you what you need to keep going little by little every day. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get through all this today because I'm just telling you, I can't even put it in words and really express it the way I really express what he's trying to do for you, what he's trying to do in you, what he's trying to bring up out of you that's going to make a difference. And it's so absolutely awesome. Just allow him to do it. But don't believe the lie. Don't believe the lie. Don't believe that you're not good enough. Don't believe that you don't have what you need. You got enough right now to get started. He's put enough in you to make a difference already. Now, all you got to do is just trust him and do it and go with it.
And believe that you are awesome and that God can do awesome things through you.
Yes. He can. He absolutely can. You can't see it because the enemy has clouded your vision. He done put now the scales got to fall off. Scales got to fall off now so that you can see what God is trying to do. Now you just take the first step. I promise you, he got you the rest of the way. Look, we're going to check out of here. Man, I hope y'all got something out of this. I know I am. This right here blesses me. And I just thank y'all for continuing to tune in and hang with us. But I just know that God has greater for you. And I want nothing more than for it to happen and for you to be so overjoyed that you ain't got no choice but to give some joy to some other folk just by your pure presence. So just continue to seek him. Continue to go after what it is he has for you. Allow him to work on the inside of you so that what's on the inside will come out, because I promise you, you're going to be a huge blessing to somebody else. And when you bless somebody else, they're going to be a blessing to somebody else. And that's what we just talked about, paying it forward. All right. So go pay it forward. Pray, plan, prepare, proceed. Go make it do what it do. We love you. We'll see you next week at 6:30.
All right. See you later.